Hello everybody and welcome to HPL, the premier Hearthstone Professional League. We're at the PvP Live studios here in Frisco, Texas. I'm your host Nathan, that's Admiral Zamora with the Jen and Grace. We are now in week 4 and this is day 1 of HPL, and these guys, we're getting close to about a third of the way through the season as they're fighting it out to find out who takes home that HPL trophy.
We're about a third way through the season, and we can start to see the standings really take shape here. Some players are really separating themselves from the pack. Some of them are falling pretty far back and have a lot of ground to make up now.
Yeah, this back 2/3 of the season is going to be very important for players like Green Sheep and Ecop, who have found themselves at 1-4. Osaka yet to play too many matches here in HPL. He sits at 0-2, but he's got plenty of time to turn that around. Era's had itself a very busy weeks 1 and 2, but last week, kind of taking things off, but you look at the head of the pack, man. The show is right there, 4-1. Nyria's, sitting one place ahead of him. They're tied for that second place at 4-1 as well. And Dog, he is 4-0 right now, yet to lose a match in HPL. And it's so important for these teams to make that top 8 spot, because any team who makes a top 8 spot is automatically coming back for Season 2. And you might be wondering to yourself, how do you get to that top 8 spot? Well, we're going to talk about the rules here for HPL. As for the format, it's just pure Hearthstone. Players can play whatever they want at any time. There's no way a deck can become banned. There's no way a deck can become locked. You can build it, you can play it. Everyone's playing against everybody else in the best of 5 series, where in between games they have time to change anything about their deck or their class in any way that they see fit. And then after that regular season, the top 8 players are coming here to Frisco, Texas to fight it out in that LAN finals and find out who's getting that stamp on their resume that every single one of these players wants, the inaugural Hearthstone Pro League champion.
And remember, guys, the show doesn't stop here. You can go to pvplive.net for player stats, league standings, full schedules, full VODs, and recaps of all the games that we've had.
Yeah, the strategies these players have chosen, and more importantly, how they've chosen to play them. And also remember, every Monday through Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Central Time, right here, twitch.tv/pvplive, you can hit that follow button to make sure you never miss a live show for everything that's going on there. Last week, I have to say, one of the best weeks that I have ever seen in Hearthstone.
The best.
Not just HPL, I mean Hearthstone in general. The matches were so insane. We've actually got a short video for you recapping some of the most brilliant moments from last Thursday's episode on HPL. Gosh, I mean, just so much action took place last week. There were so many top decks, lethals out of nowhere, just big damage coming in at every step of the way.
Yeah, lots of amazing matchups. I'm going to start off with the first one was Ecop versus Kranich. I remember this game that we're going to bring up. Ecop was at 1 life for multiple turns in this game, had to just keep surviving. Kranich kept trying to push through for the win, and Ecop kept holding on by a thread.
Yeah, Kranich actually managed to burst Ecop down to 1. It was a 17-point damage turn, and then Ecop using that life bomb to take out Frothing Berserker, and then pushing forward here. He was able to stabilize and win this game. Kranich actually won this series, but this game from Ecop was just absolutely brilliant. Every point of damage and every point of life mattered so much.
There was so much stress on both players every turn in this game, and us calling this. You can even see it in both their faces during this match. Ecop's reaction when he actually finally wins this game is priceless. You could tell both players fought super hard for this particular game.
Yeah, Kranich actually, that Death Lord was super important on this draw too. Kranich actually drew the Fiery War Axe that would have been lethal. It just wasn't enough in the end. Such a great series. And then in our Muzzy versus Show series, this one was so good too. I mean, you talk about back and forth action. I mean, no shortage of action here in HPL. Ysera and Mal'Ganis both sitting on the board here in the late game.
Yeah, and Show does drew a power level. I'm going to push through just enough damage in this turn right here to actually get through lethal. This match was a fight between both of them back and forth.
Yeah, and then the third match, that Powder versus Zalay match, Zalay actually swept this one 3-0, and you can see this Unleash the Hounds here.
I remember this. This was a little dangerous. He had to Unleash the Hounds with a Knife Juggler, and Powder had 2 boom bots on the board from a Doctor Room, and he needed these boom bots not to kill his Hounds so he could swing for lethal this turn.
Yeah, I only killed one of the Hounds, and so that wasn't enough.
Yeah, it was probably going to be his only window to get through lethal. It was one of his last chances to really finish off Powder.
Powder's hand was just so stacked this game. Very heavy hand in Zalay, trying to punish him for having such a high end curve at that one. And
yeah,
just
just exact lethal here at the end.
Such great stuff that we've seen in HPL. That was Thursday, but if you guys missed any of the matches, you need to go and check them out. But enough of last week. We got more matches here for you tonight. We're going to talk about tonight's lineup.
Yeah, and week 4, day 1 is going to be one of the best. I am super excited about all of these matches here tonight, Nathan. In our second match, this is one of the big ones for me. Jab versus Purple, one of the titans in our series here. Purple going up against Jab, who's got a 5-game winning streak coming in. And in match 3, we have Dog versus Zalay. But our first match tonight is going to be Superjj versus Powder.
Yeah, Superjj versus Powder looking to be very interesting. Dog versus Zalay too. That's also a very good one. I mean, Archon, such a big team coming into this event, and then Jab on the 5-match win streak, and Dog on his 4-match win streak, yet to be defeated yet. How these Archon guys got to recover too. This is a big big day for them. But Superjj versus Powder, that's what we're going to talk about first.
Yeah, in our first match, what we're going to focus on is damage to enemy hero, or DEH. Now, that's what the damage that a player does on average throughout the span of the game to all their enemies. Now, we're going to talk about Superjj first. Now, he's actually #1 here in HPL and DEH at 27.6. That's even despite his loss last week to Dog. We could say that about a lot of people, though. Yeah. Now, he's had 3 games in which he's dealt over 50 damage to his opponents here in HPL. So healing and armor up has not been working against Superjj here in these matches. He's having huge damage spikes later in the game that are way above the HPL average. He's spiking higher and later in the game than other people. So it's a much later point in the game that he is spiking, but when he does, it's so much more. He's been doing 2 times the damage. Now, his DEH spikes have been on average on turns 10 to 12. That's later than the average in HPL, but as I said, he's been doing twice as much damage as everybody else. So it doesn't matter what your life total is, Superjj is finding ways to kill you.
Yeah, I've been focusing a lot on the long game, honestly, and some of his long games, you know, despite the fact that he's been sort of combo focused, you know, kind of trying to keep that strategy to keep people like on their guard, it really seems to be working for him. You know, he's adapting to his opponents, as he said in his interview. He had played Priest in one of his games. You know, he said that Priest was so good when you knew what your opponent was doing. But a really big talking point for him. You know how long his games have been. He's been trying to fight in these positions where every single step of the way he answers what you're doing until he gets that one big turning point in the game and can really turn up the heat. Love the way that Superjj has been playing. Again, his only loss so far is to Dog.
Yeah, and his matchup this week, he's going to be playing against Powder. Now, Powder is on the other end of the spectrum a little bit. He has one of the lowest DEHs in HPL coming in. He's only been dealing 19.7 damage a game here, but he's ahead of only RDU and Muzzy in HPL right now, and RDU has only played 1 match, so you can technically say that he might even be second lowest in DEH here. Now, this is due in part to a small amount of the damage that he needed to take care of Kranich in their match against him. He only had to do a little bit of damage that match to win. He averaged 24 damage a game in his 3-game sweeps with Kranich. The average DEH that a person is in HPL is doing when they're winning is 29.9. They're right at 30 damage a game to win. Now, he's been spiking in HPL around turns 6 and 8. He hasn't played a ton of matches, but in the ones that he's been playing, he's been looking for windows of opportunities in those middle turns and really turning them into wins, so look for that.
Yeah, Powder just continues to play these power strategies, and you know, he even said in his interview the Paladin deck that he had played in one of his matches was meant to punish poor draws, and you know, you see that similar style in his deck choice as well, the fact that he's playing those power strategies. He mentioned that the way to tackle HPL, as far as he was concerned, was play what you're comfortable with and what you've practiced. You know, that's more of an important factor for him, and you've seen him follow through on that, and I continue to see him do it again in these matches. I mean, you know, he hasn't played a ton. I can't wait to see him play more.
Okay, so when you look at the way these two guys compare to each other, how this matchup is going to be, it's going to be interesting because Powder comes in way more aggressive than Superjj in his terms of deck building, how he plays the game, even though Superjj is doing more damage. Superjj has been way more combo-oriented, as we said. He's looking for longer games. He's trying to get to those in-game situations and finish you off from there. Now, Powder is going to be looking for early kills before Superjj can set all this up. And as I said, Superjj is going to try to extend the game and get out of that. So that's what you're going to be looking for today.
Yeah, Powder, you know, he's really clearly focused on that early game. You know, he wants that pretty much where his major game plan is set up. And as far as Superjj is concerned, you know, he's been really going for these longer games. That's sort of a really interesting clash of style, sort of a classic battle that comes into this, is the aggression versus that control style. If Powder is able to snowball that game early, it's very unlikely, I think, that Superjj is going to be able to recover from that. But if Powder's dismounted early on by Superjj, it's unlikely that he's going to be able to get back up and finish it. And now, of course, they're not cemented into those strategies, but it's what they've been playing so far and playing very often here in HPL, and I don't expect them to kind of stray away from that point. I expect them to continue and follow through with that. So kind of talking about what I think these guys have to do with this match is where we're going to move on to. The keys to success, as far as I'm concerned. For Superjj, he's the player I'm going to be talking about, and I think the first thing he's got to do is establish early board control. Powder, again, he's been coming out swinging in his games. If you let that slip past you, that game is going to snowball out of control. You're not going to find a strong recovery point, and he's going to punish you for not focusing on that. And the second thing I think that Superjj needs to do is not fear being targeted in these games. Powder has clearly shown that not only is he not trying to target his opponents, but he's even said it. He said that he thinks the best way to do this is to play play the strategies that you've practiced and that you think are most powerful. If Superjj wants to play a strategy where it's very easy to target him because of that, there's one opponent I think that he doesn't need to fear targeting him, and I think that opponent's Powder. If he does both of those things, I think he's got a great chance to win this match.
Those are really, really great points, Nathan. Now, for the other end, what I think Powder needs to do, number one, I think he needs to widely fluctuate his game plan. He needs to be very, very open and aggressive early against Superjj and try to kill him before he can ever get anything really going in this match. If you see him adjust to you, then be prepared to go for opposite ends of the spectrum with your deck choices for those kind of situations. Now, second, he really needs to be ready for longer games. You've been winning a lot of your games here in HPL very, very quickly. Superjj has a late game focus and will actively be looking to get to that point in the game. So what you need to do is you need to have plans in place that are able to fight Superjj if you get to these points in the games. If he makes you go long, don't play a deck that can't go toe-to-toe with him later in the game. If he does these things, he has a really good chance to win here today.
Yeah, if he wildly switches up those game plans and kind of goes back and forth that way, that may be a very good talking point for him. As far as who I think is going to win this match, who I believe has the edge, I have to go with Superjj on this one. You know, again, his only loss is to his teammate, Dog, and again, it was to his teammate. Dog even mentioned how good of a player he thought Superjj was in that regard. That is a massive amount of respect that I have for Dog's opinion, being such a strong professional player. And just Superjj, the way that he's been able to target his opponents so far, Powder, I think, is one of the opponents he can kind of target. Whatever the metagame trends are is kind of where I expect Powder to be playing. And because of that, I think Superjj is going to beat him out.
Yeah, I think I love all those points. My pick for this match is also Superjj. I've been super impressed with the way that he's been playing so far here in HPL. He's looked even better than I thought he would, and I already thought he was a pretty good player. You know, he's been mixing up his strategies very well, and I think he's going to be able to get these games into those late game situations today and bring home this win against Powder.
Yeah, so what do you guys think? Who do you think has the advantage, and who do you think is going to win? You can get out there on Twitter and use that hashtag HPL. You can tag PvP Live on Facebook, like or comment, do whatever you wish, but make sure you use that hashtag. Let us know who you think is going to win and why you think they're going to win. If you want some more insight into how you think they're going to do that, head over to pvplive.net and take a look for yourself. You can follow along with these players, their career statistics, everything they've played so far in their competitive histories, and how they have played them. You go take a look for yourself. Man, this match is so good. I love these classic battles of aggression versus control, and then finding out whether or not someone can make those early game pushes and really throw the opponent off, or if one player has the tools to disrupt what's happening there. You know, again, I expect both of these guys to be playing in that same vein, and that's the kind of match that I really love to see.
Yeah, I absolutely love these matches too. If Powder wants to win here today, he needs to do something on turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 to try to beat what Superjj is going to bring in. You know what? We're going to find out right now. Game 1, Superjj versus Powder. Let's see what they're queuing up and how this match is going to go.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, today, you know, we talked about how good of a match this was today, and just right out of the gates, no exception to this. And we can see this is a Druid deck that Superjj is bringing in. It's, you know, kind of been hard to pick exactly what you think he's going to play, and Druid kind of been one of those safer bets so far in here in HPL. And let me tell you what, safe bets have been paying off.
Absolutely, and you see that he has a Harrison Jones in his deck too, maybe kind of targeting these aggressive strategies from Powder, already ready to pick off some weapons here, but he's going to go ahead and mulligan all these cards, trying to get the most use out of his Innervate in his opening hand.
Yeah, Keeper of the Grove is so likely to be one of those key minions versus Powder. You know, again, he's just been kind of tailoring to the aggressive side of things. So Harrison Jones, I think, is kind of a nod to the fact, you know, we've seen him play we've seen him play Paladin so far. The Lights Justice off of Muster for Battle, great target for Harrison Jones. And look at that opening hand, 2 Innervates and 2 Keepers of the Grove. We haven't seen exactly how Powder's Hunter deck is built yet. We're going to get his side of it for us as quickly as we can, but Web Spinner will indicate that he's playing something a little bit more mid-range.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more of the late game in mind. Web Spinners are great in getting you early minion pressure and late minion pressure as well, you know, replacing itself. But these 2 Keeper of the Groves are going to be great against this against most draws out of the Hunter deck.
Yeah, Powder, wow, Powder's got a strong hand too. 2 Animal Companions, Pilot Shredder, and Dr. Boom. You know, this is one of those opportunities where Keeper of the Grove might not be quite as useful as you would expect it to be. And Superjj, he just wants more options at this point, which I find very surprising considering that he's got 2 Keepers of the Grove. And he sort of thought the better of this. He goes, you know what, my hand is good enough with these 2 Innervates. I'm just going to Hero Power here and see what I can get done. I mean, this is potentially a turn 3 Ragnaros.
Yeah, absolutely. This could be a turn 3 Ragnaros here from Superjj. Now, whew, Powder got an angry chicken here.
Yeah,
now
I'd be an angry chicken if I got one of those.
I would not be happy myself. Now, I like seeing him use the Hero Power, not the Wrath last turn, and I think you are going to see the...
Oh my gosh. Druid We've seen Druid do some absolutely disgusting stuff so far in HPL, and this is no exception. The trend continues. Ragnaros, one of the biggest threats onto Hunter. It's coming down turn 3 right now versus Powder.
And usually Hunter decks don't run a lot of ways to deal with this kind of minion this early in a game. Things like Freezing Trap, not gonna help you here.
Yeah, I mean, outside of something like Hunter's Mark or just running a bunch of minions into it, really no way to kill this. And so the fact that he's in this position right now, I mean, this is great for Superjj. He even picks up a Wild Growth. He can Wrath this minion, pick off Wild Growth. He can even keep her the Grove to silence. I mean, so many things are in his side of the board right now. This could be disastrous for Powder if this Ragnaros hits the right minion, and Leok, I think, is a very good one right now to hit. That's going to take a lot of the pressure away from Powder's ability to kill Ragnaros, and this Animal Companion, this needs to be on point, or this game's going to quickly start snowballing out of control.
I pretty much think he has to pretty much get Huffer here and run it into the Ragnaros here. He's going to just take so much damage from Ragnaros. Now, Haunted Creeper might help out just a little bit. It's an extra, good target for Ragnaros to hit. It's going to leave behind 2 minions that are, again, more targets for Ragnaros to hit. So you're going to see Powder try to make headway here on the board and really try to fight a long game here against this Ragnaros, but I don't think that's where you want to be in this matchup.
Yeah, I don't think it's where you want to be either, and Superjj not shying away from any of his ability to keep killing the board. This Ragnaros hits the other Leok, so the Haunted Creeper not going to absorb damage this turn, and Powder, I mean, Superjj is still at 25 right now.
Yeah, and what you're going to see here is you're going to see a strange game of what I like to call protect the queen from Superjj here. He's going to just protect this Ragnaros for the rest of the game. You're going to see Powder try to put as many threats on the board as possible to give Ragnaros as many things to shoot here while getting in a little bit of damage. I like these plays from Powder, but Superjj is going to make sure that his Ragnaros sticks around as long as possible. If it just stays on the board for the second Wrath here, what a huge pickup. If it stays on this board for much longer, I don't think Powder can win the game.
Yeah, Swipe would be an absolutely massive draw here from Superjj too. Gonna Wrath out this Knife Juggler, then use Hero Power to clear another one of these. And I mean, outside, Dr. Boom is really kind of the last hurrah in this situation. Hero Power, again, going to clear out one of these minions. And I think Superjj wants this Ragnaros to start going to the dome.
Yeah, he definitely wants this Ragnaros to start going upstairs so he can end this game as quickly as possible, because he actually doesn't have, King Crush outed by Powder.
Oh my gosh!
This game has been so crazy and back and forth. This Dr. Boom into Savannah High Main and Hero Power into King Crush could be enough to win this game.
Yeah,
depending on how this Ragnaros goes.
We've seen the turn 3 Ragnaros, it's been doing a lot of damage over to Powder. He does have to be concerned a little bit about his own life total. That's why he's going to go with this Angry Chicken instead and try to diversify his threats. But he does have to be worried about the amount of damage that can still potentially come out of this. Superjj is kind of finding himself in a little bit of defensive position. Dr. Boom, a huge pickup for him. But again, if Powder lives for 2 more turns, this game could really, really easily be over because of that King Crush.
Yeah, and Powder's Angry Chicken just took 8 damage to the face. Now, this board is just going to get crazily gummed up here over the next turn. And Powder's only at 12. He has to be very, very careful here. He needs to take care of this Dr. Boom. Yeah. Otherwise, he's going to take way too much damage here. And he still has to dodge this Ragnaros for the rest of the game, too.
Yeah, no, I cannot blame him whatsoever for taking out the Dr. Boom. If he had left this alone and Savage Roar was a factor this turn, he absolutely would have died this turn. So we had to take that out. And now Superjj, I mean, this can't be a comfortable position for him. Despite this turn 3 Ragnaros, a lot of this has been stifled by Powder being able to get so many threats on the board.
Yeah, now he's got a couple options this turn. He can Azure Drake if he wants to draw a card. He can use Savage Roar to buff up his boom bots and start to run into some of the minions that Powder has and hope that he gets some good bomb shots off of that. But it's going to be interesting to see that he plays the Azure Drake first, since these I think it helps protect his Ragnaros a little bit from the attack, the bombs kind of triggering off of each other. There we go. Like what we see there.
Takes 1 point of damage here. And this other 3's going to face. He wants to make sure that he has opportunities for lethal this turn. 25% chance this game will end this turn right now. Hits the Boombot instead. Boombot takes out the Azure Drake.
Wow.
7, 8, 9, plus 8 from King Crush. That's 17, 18, 19, 20. He's 2 damage short of being able to kill Superjj this turn.
Yeah, he's only got 20 damage.
I'm sorry, 3 damage short.
Yeah, he's only got 20. Yeah, that's
23.
He's only got 20 damage this turn, and this Snake Trap doesn't look like for this game. But he's still got to worry about. He has to be able to control Superjj's board enough to not die next turn while still getting in damage, and then present enough things on the board to lower the chance that Ragnaros kills him.
Yeah, I mean, he does have to worry about just Force Nature killing him, but I don't think he has a way to play around that.
Yeah,
right
he
now.
has no way to play around it
unless he wanted to bluff something like Snake Trap. But even then, Superjj would just Hero Power first. And attack him, and then use Force of Nature to push through the Explosive Trap afterwards. So even that wouldn't help him in this situation. You can see Powder's very concerned with this kind of situation happening. And King Crush, I mean, he has to worry a little bit about something like Dr. Boom, I think it is, I'm sorry, about Big Game Hunter in a situation like this. I think he's going to end up going for King Crush, drops to 3, so now he's dead also to Druid of the Claw, and I think at this point he's going to bluff this Snake Trap as a freezing trap to try to pull Superjj out of that option and buy him a little bit more time.
Yeah, Superjj got a couple outs to actually win the game here, but interesting to see if he goes for it, fearing something like freezing trap here.
This is such a big turn. Superjj has a couple of outs to win the
Force
game.
of Nature.
Force of Nature is one of them, so you're going to see Hero Power. He's going to attack Powder's face, and then he's going to use Force of Nature and end this. If he figures out this puzzle, this game has ended right now.
Wow, the early, it looks like he figured out the early Ragnaros is actually going to come through. I was actually worried for Superjj's case there. I thought he was going to actually lose there for a moment after getting this early Ragnaros.
What a back and forth game. Powder so close to finishing it on turn 9, just needed a few more points of damage to be able to clear this game out. But turn 3 Ragnaros that proved to be too much pressure. But wow, the fact that Powder was even in that game is astonishing to me.
What a game by Powder to even stay in there, stick in there. And you know what? Good job by him. Like, just amazing play to even be in this game. And you know what I liked the most about this game? Superjj not using Wrath on turn 2. He uses Hero Power instead to take care of the minion there. If he cycles his Wrath, I don't like it there as much. It has too much value later in the game, taking out something like a Knife Juggler that you need to take out. And he didn't really need an extra card there since he was going to turn 3 a Ragnaros. You don't need many other options when you have that going on.
Yeah, if you can turn 3 a Ragnaros, it's usually a pretty darn good idea. In that game, it lived the entire span of the way. From turn 3 forward, Ragnaros was never dealt with, and that was the major difference in Superjj being able to win this game. Killed both Animal Companion minions, dealt 16 points of damage to the face, presented a problem for Powder, so that way he couldn't play his game plan exactly how he wanted to. He was forced into taking action at some point in that game, wasn't able to get going. Superjj picks up this win.
Yeah, what a great win from Superjj here. Early Ragnaros sealing the deal. Wow.
Yeah, so if you guys want to check out this recap, you can head over to pvplive.net and see it for yourself. The stats, breakdowns, and everything that happened in this game. Turn 3 Ragnaros, let me tell you what, tough to lose with, but if there was a player who came close to doing it, it was Powder, so go check it out if you want to see exactly what was happening. These guys are making changes to their decks right now, again, in the HPL format. They are not shackled in the way they choose anything that they want to play. They can change anything between games. So when we come back, Game 2, Superjj and Powder is going to be getting underway. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.